Okay, sorry, I was muted. Didn't mean, didn't mean to invite you up and be silent.
Hey, Axis.
How's it going, Dom?
Like I think it's going well for myself. I can say for you, how's it going? But it might be the same. That you're probably still struggling with your health.
I just missed my medical team.
Mm. They weren't doing nothing for you. They making you go through hoops. What was going on? If you don't mind sharing.
Just didn't feel like being intruded upon by the medical team anymore, I guess. Fuck it. They're still scratching their heads. One of them was a dirty, rotten conniver. And this is the third time that I've had somebody do dirty, rotten, conniving shit to me from the medical industry in my home. So I'm not going to allow it anymore. I can tolerate a lot of things in my medical treatment, but lying and straight out being a conniver, I can't tolerate that. And then as far as the channel goes, I figure people need a safe place, man, right? Don't rock the boat. So I shut it all down, everything, even, I guess, even, this is kind of a prelude to safety. This is, even me speaking here is unsafe. And I found that out the last couple of days. Found out about my son, where he's at, what's been going on there. That was a real disappointment. I had to face someone with the same, almost the same circumstances. They lost three friends, and they wanted to hear, or they wanted the people here to hear how devastating and how that just really tore him apart, and how he's trying to get through it, and his dour, down sense of mourning. And I looked square at him. I told him, said, "That's coming from you, the same person that told me not to let it bother me, to get past it, move on." This being my psychological case manager. Needless to say, his dour look turned into confusion. He grabbed his little briefcase, said, "I guess you're right," walked out. So what? You know, this is a fucked up place, man. And I can't, just don't think I can contribute anymore, Dom, to any of it. Feeding the beast.
Well, people have to make a decision, and when you make a decision, hopefully you can stand by it, or at least try to understand why you make the decision, whatever leads up to it, or what follows up after.
Um, yeah, to a degree. That was a pretty good staple in my ability to recover and deal with things. But obviously, that's not going to happen anytime soon. I keep getting hit with I keep getting hit with some serious, serious treasonous shit, and I'm tired of it laying on my shoulders, man. I'm not going to give them a place to put their shit no more. You know, fuck it. Tried to make a point. The point was null and void and was not received well.
Well, that opens up to the inquiry that you put out there where feeling safe. What does that look like for some people feeling safe? Some people feel safe to bark at other people, whether it's behind a computer or behind a position, a job, or being a parent or a child. Safety doesn't always necessarily mean it's a pleasant thing. So
No, it's not. No, it is not.
and is it more for others or for oneself? Some people can feel safe with themselves to, like, say, lash out to somebody, but yet make somebody else feel uncomfortable or unsafe. Now they might turn around and say, "I don't give a damn about them," but then why are you using them as a muse then?
Right?
You're better off just, coloring a picture on some sort of punching bag and then punching that then, or making fun of it, or throwing profanities
Right?
at it. That's one version of it, yes. And then there's other people where they can actually feel very vulnerable, meaning that they can cry or they can be angry, but not feel as though they're being judged. But then there's other people that their safety is by judging. Or, and like you said, the word, somebody feels safe enough that they can lie or deceive somebody.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. This is why I think people need to learn their own boundaries. Kind of goes on what you're trying to ask tonight, what you put out there, take a measure of the self. What is the self to that person? How do you know its boundaries?
Well, I figured if I gave them the safest possible place that they all, mostly, I won't say all, but mostly, they're all wanting this safe place or this calm place or this that or another, and then you give them one thing, they turn against you. You give them another thing, what they're asking for, and then they leave. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Why should I bother?
Well, you're going to be bothered by it. It sounds like, again, that safety, is that an external thing or an internal thing? Because if it's
No,
an external thing, go ahead.
it, what it is a responsive. It's cause and effect for me. If I set all my equipment up and open the doors up and say, "Hey, free show tonight, metal show, right? Industrial metal show," and I set all this up. I get the venue set up. I get the insurance set up. Everybody's rehearsed. They they brought their best on, and no one truly gave a shit to do anything other than criticize. But the door was open. It was free.
Mhm.
That's the point I'm taking.
Did you have expectations when you're opening up the door?
Well, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
I thought maybe some people would show up and enjoy the music.
Okay, so you expected them to enjoy it. So is that not also setting up the possibility you might get the other end of it?
Well, that's what I found out, Dom.
Okay.
And I found out very quickly. If I give them the Beatles mayhem, chaos, screaming girls, or you just this level of whatever, it fills chat rooms, it brings the numbers up. People talk about it, they run with it. And then whenever I shut it down for one day, it was abandoned completely. And then when I started it back up, and I thought, okay, let's test this. Let's because I'm not going to do anything without first testing it. And I opened it up, and I brought on What May Come, and I watched reactions from everyone, opinions, uh, people who were completely distraught at what I allow on my channel or allowed on my channel or what I was doing on my channel. And I take requests. You know, you come up to the band, you want to hear a certain song. If it's one of our repertoire, we're going to play it. But don't expect to be the musician on stage playing and then tell me how to play my instrument. And then when you're disappointed at the fact that we play a variety of songs, throw up your hands and go, well, I am absolutely appalled at this free show. That's why in that final second to last, maybe last to that, why I put the title at the bottom and when I left the chat room. I
Y'all
gave you the
play
best I had to offer.
y'all play a variety of songs?
Uh,
Because that's super whack,
Sometimes.
bro. If that's true, that's super whack.
What? Playing my music? I'm
Playing a
sorry I
variety
offended you.
playing a variety of music, yeah, it's super whack, dude.
Okay. Well, there you go. I thought it was a safe thing to do. Obviously, it for you brings discontent.
But why are people mad at you?
Because I have issues and I don't hide them. I don't hang out behind a facade of images and
That's cool.
pleasantries or these other different roles that people take on. You may get a different aspect of me. I have unlimited amounts of aspects because I have unlimited amounts of resources to my availability and some that I've even kept in my head. You know? But it's just an aspect. It isn't the whole. Just one small piece. See? Point proven?
Well, I think anytime we put something out there, we have to anticipate or at least be flexible enough to think that it might go one way or another or different ways. So whether I'm trying to look up the word, the difference between allow opposed to tolerate things. If somebody wants something favorable, kind of said it before, my dad said the quote about sweet. If you're going to accept or tolerate sweet, then you have to actually play its opposite, even though we could be making up both stories. So if somebody's looking, whether it's playing music or doing something for something, and they make the assumption that somebody's going to enjoy it, then there's a good chance they might go the other way too, actually. So it's, I think, how one endures or tolerates or perceives how it lays. I guess that's what I was saying earlier about expectations. If you're expecting something, you might be surprised when you receive the opposite. Everybody's going to have their own different interpretation of music. The person that's actually, it's their music, it's going to be personal for them.
Yep. It was my music. I was entertaining me. Not anyone else, just me.
Yeah, I'm with you on
And
that.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I choose to enjoy it. And I respect the people that do that. And that's why I've said before, when I share information, that's just me sharing out loud. What other people do with it, whether it's through a perception or how they hear it, use their senses, that's on them. Throwing it back at me, I said, who's to say that I even gave you the gift? a gift is always for me. It's almost like a boomerang at that point, or a yo-yo. It's attached to a string. It's going to come back to me. I'm just testing the acoustic by throwing it out there. And once it comes back to me, a person says, well, that has not, but you thought you gave it to me. I said, no, that's the illusion that you're thinking. The giver, the receiver is within oneself, not outside. That's always the illusion. And we get to play with our senses. Like, where do we actually really hear music? Through the ears. Now, we can probably direct and say, yeah, but I'm seeing it coming out of what, a guitar, a drum, banging a tree. We use words like perception, but a lot of people who actually don't dig deep enough to realize what is a perception.
Just an interpretation of your environment through the senses that you have the best you can.
True. Then people can investigate that. How did you come to be with your senses? Let alone, are they even your senses? Or you just been assigned a suit and a whole bunch of senses? Just remember, when you check out, kind of like pack in, pack out, when you go hiking or camping. So therefore, when you leave this realm, remember, all this stays here. You don't take it with you. So enjoy it while it's here. Get upset while it's here. Be sad while you're here, thinking it's some sort of trap while you're here. Whatever words you want to put it in there. But it's not mine to own. That's why when, certain characters, maybe spiritual beings, talk through other forms, say, you're going to own nothing, but be happy. The elusive part is the happy part. The owning part is the obvious one. And even that. Am I supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to be sad? Am I supposed to be excited? Those are all just moments and moments. That's all they are. Again, this is what you're kind of with the theme of measuring the self. What is the self? For me, Maxis, it's just me saying, measure the program. How do I measure how many languages I can speak? And once a person realizes, I know numbers, I know colors, that's the program. And how did that program come to be?
It was written.
It's written, scribed, whether it's in the form, some other kind of form, or a body, or an ether, or in the, what other word I could use, aura, breath, I don't know. We can use all kinds of words at that point. But again, it would be speculation on my part, because even if I do know all of this stuff, no matter what I say, a person still has to do their own journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I was playing my music. And it's a variety. It's softer, some of it's a little more harder. And I was indulging myself in my music.
It'd be no different if you were indulging yourself as a child throwing a rock into a creek. You don't need some, I don't know, naive, arrogant adult saying, well, you shouldn't be throwing rocks in a creek. I said, you know something? You do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm actually doing what I'm wanting now. If it's a fish and it's going to say, listen, don't throw it at me, you can say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was throwing it in the water and you happen to be there. I'm just throwing a rock in the river. So this is the same ideal. This is where people don't realize how much they put boundaries on each other. But meanwhile, that boundary should be for oneself. If you have nothing positive to say to somebody, even though I know a lot of people like leaning towards positive, then don't say nothing. Especially if you understand how the negative energy actually fuels the positive. What purpose would it say to say, I don't like your music? No different saying if you do enjoy it. Axis knowing you a little bit, you might turn around and say, okay, thank you. What do you mean? Well, you said my music is nice. Thank you. Well, the other person says it's terrible. I'm going to use the same word. Thank you. And that's it. Keep it simple. You don't need to, well, I'm not saying for you actually, but people don't need to reveal to other people, if you're going to play this game, what your hand is. Be consistent. Oh, okay. You did a really nice, you played a really good game of golf or whatever. Now, if you know the person is in the same craft as you might want to hear them say you could have improved your shot. But for the average person who's like, yeah, okay, thank you. You did a shitty job. Yeah, thank you. You could have done better. Yeah, thank you. I'm being polite when I say thank you. I don't have to say anything. But I get it. They want a response. So I'm going to dictate the response.
Right. We have your buddy in the back.
I don't know about buddies, but you know, he obviously wants to come up.
Well, another being is in the back.
Oh, that's true. We're all beings here.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. What's going on?
Just playing some music.
Excellent. Well, you invited me over here, I think, earlier. And you
Yeah,
thanked me for
that
being a
was.
great guest. So,
Yes, I did. Yes,
So
I
I
did.
came over once I realized you were live. How's it going, Dominic? What's new with you?
Spend some time with my family today, Stephen.
Oh, you two are friends?
Me and Dom, yeah, of course I consider him a friend. I mean, I can't speak for him, but as for me, I consider Dom a friend, yes.
I thought he was bashing your channel and your show and you wanted to shut it down or something. Was that him?
Dom didn't bash my channel.
Oh, who was it? I thought it was Dominic.
No, it's a couple of dissidents that was displeased with the channel, and they taken it to another level. So when I started taking it to that same level, they became the victim.
Oh, okay. You ran off the last time I came over here, Dominic, and a lot of the other times you left. Why would you run away like that? What's your issue with me?
Steve, I don't run.
Can you repeat that? You what?
I'll amuse you one time here. I don't run.
You did run away.
That's your
You're not
perception.
amusing me. You did run away the last time I came over here. You left as soon as I was backstage. And in the chat room you ran away. So you're not being honest. Why don't you just be honest? You run away when I come here.
You're insignificant to me, Stephen, so you can carry on whatever you want to say.
You run away. Why would I be insignificant? What's your issue with me? You don't like that I can see right through you and the trash that you hang around with and cockroaches that you support, that I can see right through you? Is that what bothers you? I can see what you are.
There's no need in bashing Stephen.
That's not bashing. I can see what he is. Are you going to run away again, Dominic? You usually do.
I can see something far greater in my guests than just.
You don't like cowards, do you, Rattblood? Do you like cowards?
Some would say I am.
Oh, did you guys bond over that? Do you guys bond over things like that, or?
No, I just took it into consideration.
Well, why does he run away? How come he can't answer any questions? Like, are you a grown man, Dominic, or what are you? You can't answer any questions? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, Stephen. I did have a question for you, though. It's serious.
Dominic,
yeah, I had
guts? Why can't he answer the questions?
Well, sure, I can probably wanting to engage.
Oh, okay. He's a coward. Go ahead then, Rattblood.
There was a segment that you done. I was watching on your channel there.
Yeah.
And it was about blaming. I think it was blaming the mother. The child blaming the mother. And I get a lot of blame for a lot of shit. And then when I posted that,
I don't remember that. I don't know what segment you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a small segment you done a couple hours ago about blame laying the blame on the female or the mother and the child not taking responsibility. Um,
You blame your mother? Is that what you're saying? What are you getting at?
no, that's why I said I took that same blame, but I was watching how it was different between the male and the female from what you were showing. And I thought, yeah, if somebody could hit on the topic of, me being responsible for my son, then I want someone to hit on the topic of my mother being responsible for me. Doesn't the same weight in the balance?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Do you think your mom should take some blame for your life or whatever?
Not
She
for who
brought
I
you into this
turned
realm,
out
didn't
to
she?
be, but for the circumstances leading up to who I am, yeah, she helped nurture me. Not by
Yeah,
being a parent.
but
She wasn't a parent. I was raised by my grandmother.
oh, your mom wasn't a parent then. She kind of
No, she adopted me out at 11 years old, man.
oh, well, she brought you
Yeah,
into this realm, right? So
yeah,
she's got to take some responsibility for popping you out of her vagina if she gave natural birth, or I don't know if it was C-section or what, but she carried you
right.
for
She
9
did.
months, right? So
Yeah,
she brought you into this realm is what I'm getting at, right?
yeah, she did. And she was a passive influence, not a positive one, throughout the course of my life. I mean, under her supervision, she was drunk. I was 3 years old and I lost my lung because she was passed out. And instead of watching the children under her supervision, I lost a lung. Is that her fault? No, that's my fault for being 3 years old on a porch. You see what I'm saying? She adopted me
No.
out at 11 years old for a check so my grandmother could get a check for me.
Oh,
It was all about
it was
money. See, it wasn't
was
about
all,
love.
was all about
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Oh,
And yeah. And then on top of that, I had to live with an extremely abusive uncle who helped shape hatred and the character that I am. He fed the darkest parts of me. Vile abuse. All the way up until I was 18 years old. I could not go home without getting into a fight with this man because he would be drunk and instigative.
oh wow.
So I'm curious how much of that is my mom's fault for placing me in a home with a uh, unqualified hillbilly and an extremely physically and mentally abusive uncle for a check, so my mom didn't have to take responsibility for me anymore. Because when she had me both times, one, I lost a lung. Secondly, I suffered massive head trauma. And so, I'm curious.
Did she ever take any responsibility for you or what happened or anything in life?
No, no. She just says I'm an embarrassment and
Oh, you still talk to her?
a
You
few
still have a
other.
relationship, or you
No,
still in
no, we
touch?
don't have a relationship. As a matter of fact, I got the news today that she's been communicating with my son, uh, sending me money, sending they're having video visits, and they're texting each other back and forth. And this has been going on for almost a month now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I thought, wow, it, the only thing I knew is what prison he was in, and I couldn't get a hold of him. They said there would be an 80-day sustain on that.
Was the uncle, was that her brother, or was it your
Yeah.
dad's brother? Oh, it's her brother.
Yep.
So she left you with her abusive brother, alcoholic, abusive,
Yeah.
piece of shit. What does Dom think of all this stuff? Does he know about
I don't
this?
think Dom's interested in this. That's why I just wanted to ask you about it, Stephen, because you were airing something that was relative to it on your channel, and I was watching.
Well, I think that people should take responsibility for their behaviors. And if you bring someone into this world, you got to be responsible, just like if you have a pet, whether it's a rat, a cat, a dog, a lizard, a bird. You should be
Right?
responsible. That's how I look at it. I don't know how these people get away with just using somebody for a check or a government check or child
Well,
support or whatever, you know.
here's the icing on the cake. They didn't want me to have any communication with my son because I was the one that got him put in prison. But I did get informed that he's on 23-hour lockdown. He gets 1 hour out in population to get all this bullshit done. He's locked back down for 23 hours, and that's going to be for the first 30 years of his sentence. And whenever it was brought up that I was the reason he's going through that hell because I'm the one that failed him as a parent, I had to reevaluate it. And whenever I was watching a few things on it, not only from your channel but others, I was completely floored by this. I was just totally floored by it. And you have little to no shame about addressing the truth. Well, there's you some truth. I'd like to hear what your take is on it because everybody else is going to say it's a badge of honor. I'm projecting. They're going to say anything in the world except this is a situation this person's going through. And he's asking for a statement, some type of enlightenment that may be given by someone who doesn't mind speaking their mind. Whether it's truthful or not, that's between you and yourself. But it is an aspect that you do project. And I think that's what's needed.
Well, I think your son, he committed these crimes as an adult, right? He was already physically grown up, so he's got to take responsibility for his choices, his actions. If he did violence, you can't be blamed for everything your son does. Just like you have to take responsibility for yours, and your mother should take responsibility for what she did as an adult when she was supposed to be a parent. That should reflect on her. I don't think she's taken responsibility for her behavior. What happened to you when you were 3 years old in her care is on her, but she's never taken responsibility for that, as I understand it.
No, she could have done things different. I could have done things different. My son could have done things different. And I think the guilt lies on all three of us. You know, I'm not going to exclude myself from that guilt. But once you reach a level of having to deal with that type of situation inside your own head, when you're still receiving the opposition that it's nobody's fault but mine, and then they use it to subjugate an attack on me, I have to look into such things. I have to know these things. I have to reflect on myself. And the reflection I done is we're all three guilty, including the grandmother.
Do you mean your mother or your grandmother?
My grandmother, my mom, me,
Oh,
and my son.
So it's that many
I
generations then, 4 generations
yeah, yeah,
involved.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was trying to break that cycle. I really set out to break that cycle, but it would seem that I would be portrayed as the biggest failure, and that's cool. You know, they can say disassociate or say whatever, and two of them's dead already, so it doesn't matter. But when I found out the information I found out today about that I could have been talking to my son, I could have been communicating with him, but because they're under the impression and the strong illusion that I'm the reason he's in there. And I thought, oh, fuck. So now I have to contend with, do I write him? Do I acknowledge him? Or do I just leave him hanging out to dry? You know?
Yeah, well, that's up to you. I mean, you shouldn't be allowing others to influence that decision. Someone in my chat, Louise, said, your mom is absolutely responsible for the trauma you went through as a child, Rattblood. From what you were saying, what you choose to do as an adult is your responsibility, regardless of childhood trauma. And Anna Faye said 100%, Louise, mom was responsible for your physical and mental safety, but you know right from wrong now, Rattblood.
Yeah,
So
I
I
do.
agree.
Well, I wouldn't say I
As an
know it, but
adult,
I know my aspect of it. Yeah.
what do you mean you know your aspect of it?
Well, when I look back to see where the damaging parts of all this are, I was a contributor to damaging parts. You know, but each person played their own role in it, and for me to pursue any further thought on it, I would have to look at how either that can be reconciled and brought to a state where the negativity and the, well, definitely the truth of the situation comes to light, and that some responsibility is taken. I mean, I take the responsibility for my son. I don't lie about it. But my mom, you know, she's her and my daughter both catering it, just keeping the sickness going.
How old is your
And I thought
daughter?
she's 24, could be
Okay.
25. Yeah.
Is she siding with your mom, or is that what's going on?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Got to do with money,
It,
Stephen.
it all has to do with money. Is that all they really care about? It's just money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shame.
Money is the key. That's the common thread that I've seen through this whole thing. And that's the only common thread that I've seen is don't take blame and throw money at it.
Well,
And I
I
thought,
think you're really struggling with some of this stuff. Rebecca said on her, I think it was her last live stream, that you were just using this situation with your son being in prison and mentioning it, dumping it on people and trying to use it for attention on YouTube. And I think you're really struggling with a lot of the emotions involved in the whole situation. So I think that that was an attack by her on you on her her live stream. I think she took it down, but I recall her saying that on there, that you
there
were
was,
just using
yeah,
all this.
yeah, there was a lot of unnecessary low blows, but I wasn't going to retaliate in the same manner.
I just wonder
You
why
know,
why was she doing that towards you? Why was she attacking
because I
like
let
that?
you up here.
Oh, it's my fault, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Huh.
thought I was catering to you in spite of her.
So she's attacking you and your son and using that situation to paint you as someone that's trying to make a YouTube channel over your son being in prison just because you had me
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really low.
Yeah. Didn't you hear the part where she felt betrayed? If you listened to her broadcast, you would have heard it. Which
What was the
told me
betrayal
exactly.
about? She felt betrayed because of what?
Well, she felt that me allowing you time on this panel, I guess, or interacting with you in a non-destructive way, I guess that's the only thing I can think of, man. You know,
Oh,
because
she's
outside of
laughing
that,
now. She's laughing to tears in the chat room. Look at this.
oh,
She's loving this.
maybe I got it wrong. I'm sure she is. That's why this works. That's
She
why the
must be
numbers
sick.
are up,
The dis-
the views are up, the interactions up. I know what people want, Stephen, and it's not healthy. And it's not a coincidence that every time you show up, she shows up. Or it's
Yeah.
not a coincidence that every time she shows up, you show up. I mean,
Well, you know,
that's
no, she
beyond
watches my
coincidence.
show. She watches my show, so she knows I'm streaming. She knows I'm here because as soon as I'm a guest, she's like, "Oh, well, Steve over live. He follows me. He follows me around." That's
Well,
what happened.
now she's backstage, and I'm sure that this is going to turn into a theater, and it's going to be some type of bizarre twist of speculations. I'm sorry, Dom, but I had hoped to make a safe place out of this tonight. Maybe
This isn't dangerous. This
people,
is fairly safe. This
yeah, I
isn't a
would say
safe
so.
space, though, is it? We're not in like
Oh,
those colleges that have safe spaces with coloring books and Kool-Aid cookies and all that stuff. They treat 20-year-olds as though they're 2-year-olds. You don't want a show like that, right? The safe space, the liberal. Do you know what I mean? The liberal safe space that
yeah,
they
well,
have for college kids.
it's
Yeah.
what it started out as tonight. It started out as a very safe place. Now, watch it become a chaotic drama
Well,
scene filled with
my
madness because of the introduction of this. I watch behaviors.
well, let's
Oh,
let's
yeah.
get her to behave herself. Let's see if we can make her
Okay,
behave herself.
I'll behave myself. I just want to address something before.
She's a big girl.
I've listened to both your live streams, Axis. I listened to your live stream the other day, your conversations with everyone. I listened to 6 hours, right? I wasn't there while you did it live. Did you listen to my entire live stream on Steven's channel? Let alone did Steven listen to it? He fell asleep. So I want to say this one thing. Why I was upset with you had nothing to do with Steven. Okay. And I said that on my live stream. It had to do with you demanding a stranger on your live stream, El Jefe Blanco, right? Absorb your pain, and you found reason to tell a stranger, right? You catered and constructed the conversation to the point where you were telling a stranger about your son. And telling when he left, you said, this is a unique opportunity. Where on YouTube can anyone talk to the father of a murderer? And I was in
Yeah,
your chat. I was in your chat the entire time with my comments. If you weren't reading them and you still haven't read them, then you don't know. So I went live and I shared it with you. So don't sow narratives about me bringing, like, I'm the one who's going to make this space unsafe, right? I'm holding back. I appreciate what Stephen was talking to you about, accountability. On that very live stream, I called on Stephen to say, hey, dude, you call out people all the time for manipulating other people for money. For Stephen does. He calls out the rebellious meat puppet all the time for threatening to hurt himself. Okay, threatening to hurt himself to gain the sympathy of his subscribers. Okay, so I see Stephen approaching you here with more of the compassion I know that he has. I don't know his history with Rebellious Meat Puppet, right? And The separate part was the way that you, Axis, as someone who claims to be a friend of mine and a fan of mine, and Stephen, who we know is not a friend and a fan, right, can sit here and almost every time you guys get together, you have a conversation about me. And when I come up later, because I don't engage, because I don't want to interrupt, I know you talk about other things, right? And you try and bring it to, hey, talking about your conversation with Stephen. And I tell you every time, I don't want to talk about it. Don't worry about it. Right. So I'm separating the separate items. I did see it as a red flag. Okay. I did see the way that you would engage in conversations with Stephen as unnecessary, but I don't tell people who to talk to and why to talk to them. I've never told anyone not to have Stephen up on their panel. Right. Out of all the people I've had conflict content with here on YouTube, Stephen is still the person I would pick having a conversation anytime with.
And you lost.
So just to be clear, I'm not bringing the madness. I'm not saying I don't amplify it or cause problems or blame other people for my problems, but don't sit here and sow a narrative, right? When you guys have played back and forth, even the other day when you're like, oh, I had Stephen on my panel and he was so calm and I was doing a thing. Stephen's calm on tons of panels. You weren't doing a thing. Stephen was doing a thing, right? Stephen chooses his behavior every time he's up here. Right? He chooses it. He's not an emotionally responsive person. Right, exactly. And I've had hundreds of hours of calm conversations with Stephen. Or at least 100.
If I can have good conversation with him, I'm not going to dismiss him
I
in
never
any
asked
way
you
other
to.
than.
I never asked you to.
And you were in the chat when I had Stephen up here.
I don't typically stay in the chat and watch you guys talk. I don't need to.
Oh, okay.
I've spent enough time. You know, I can look at it afterwards. I don't need to. But and often you would have conversations outside of talking about me, but it would reduce conversations to where Stephen's saying something about me and you're trying to defend it or whatever. You're trying to make it look, but you guys enjoy talking to each other. Why I need to be in the conversation at all is unnecessary. But again, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. I'm just going to change my behavior, right? Because I don't tell content creators what to do. You know, but when you sat here with El Jefe Blanco and your entire chat justified, oh, you're right. You know, this is the best the cream of the crop on YouTube for meeting fathers of murderers, right? And that's your new shtick. That's what makes you feel unique and special, right? I, as your friend, was calling you that out on that. I wasn't even taking it like, oh, I'm going to drag Axis Rattblood now. Like some people may see how Stephen and the rebellious meat puppet engage. I don't know anything about how Keith and Stephen met. Okay, so I don't know their history, but I know I appreciate Stephen for what he does and point out there. Right? Just like he's saying, he says to you right now, I know you've been through trauma. I know you're struggling. He also hasn't sat here for a year since your son committed this crime, not here in your channel, but everywhere. This is what you want to talk about. And you have every right to do that. You have every right to do that on your channel. When you have unsuspecting strangers who know nothing about your channel come into your channel and you dump that kind of stuff on them and you don't get the response you want, right? What it is that you're seeking from what I see is help that you're not getting on YouTube, and you're getting attention for something that is actually exploitation of someone out there who doesn't exist here anymore. Right? Like,
well, before you had him come up on my channel, there was nobody up here.
I never had Stephen do anything.
Not Stephen.
I never had Stephen. I didn't have El Jefe Blanco come up here at all. I don't puppet people. It's called mathematical algorithms. Okay? You're trying to say that I wind up Stephen. If I wind up Stephen, then he winds me up too. Okay? Stephen and I have never had a conversation that isn't public. Right? Never. You know? And I don't make demands of anyone around Stephen. The closest thing I do to that is block everyone in his chat because I don't want to react to them. Not because I don't want to see what they're saying about me, because I want to curb my own behavior and learn myself. you know? And I'm sorry for the confusion, right? I am sorry for not communicating with you when I fucking drew the fucking line, but I don't puppet people. I don't have a sea of trolls. I don't have Discord where we sit and talk about anything to do with YouTube. The only thing I do in Discord is watch TV. And the only time I had any breakaway from that was into the Mel Pandora community. And you could ask anyone in that community. If I was on a Discord, they know I'm not anymore. I'm also in Flow State's Discord because I can't communicate with Flow to get a link unless I'm in his Discord. It's an added security fashion. But so as much as I've been accused of puppeting, I'm saying this to you and to Stephen, right? I don't have any flying monkeys. I'm a big enough monkey myself to manage.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't ever ask anybody to operate in or against your wishes or
The
to direct
only
anybody in
time I
any
ever
way.
did was
Okay.
the only time I ever did was you. I asked you to privatize a few videos, and I even asked you to shut one down while Steven was streaming it because I thought it was funny when I used to do that to him. You're the first
Yeah.
person I asked to do anything, and you said yes.
Of course I did.
So-
I'm Rattblood.
You know? So I'm guilty of assuming that you saw the comments I was making to El Jefe Blanco, or when El Jefe Blanco was in your chat, to you and to your other chat people, right? But I have just as much right to express my opinion in chat without being seen as a troll. I'm calling my friend here. I'm saying it's been a year, right, that you've been talking about this. You know, I get that a lot of us end up doing some kind of therapy and growth on YouTube, right? But your process, I believe, okay, is not your process. Anyways, I'm going to look like I'm giving advice, or I just know that I've been your friend. I've gotten to know you, you know, and this wanting to bring it out in every conversation with someone to the point of actually saying this is a unique opportunity on YouTube, right? Who else on YouTube is the father of a murderer for anyone to talk to? That's what you were saying the other night. That's where I drew the line.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Steven.
Well, then you could have just left it alone. Because this
Well,
is a problem in a situation with me. And I've been drugged through over a year's worth of court battles, abuse, and the most horrific side of people that I could possibly see. And then to find out that my son's already been placed in a prison as of just 30 days ago, and my family kept that from me, and even communication, I'm still a little pissed.
I know you are. And you have every right to be, just like Don said last night. You know, this is not something that's going to heal overnight. But in the same breath, you're complaining, you're upset that your mom blames you for what happened to your son, right? And then you get upset because she blames you, and then you're upset at her and blame her for you, right? It's cognitive dissonance, you know? So I see Steven actually having a good conversation with you, and I don't want to interrupt that. I'm not trying to make this about me, right? I just wanted to interject and make sure that you understood that I am not, other than what you shared on that link, you could go through. And I'd urge you to go through that conversation and look at what you said to me. Look at private things you told me about your son, right? That I'm not going to. This is not a threat. Okay. I would never do it. But where you were so busy looking for what I was contradicting, you didn't even look at some of the things you said to me in that chat that I have every right at this stage to air back. They're very personal. They're none of my business and none of anyone on YouTube's business. And I can promise you, the closest thing I was going to do was black out those comments and show, oh, I'm eating buffalo wings, right? You know, so that you understood that I have this evidence too. Right. And I'm not going to air that dirty laundry. Right. You know, I don't say anything behind the scenes that I don't expect someone to come public with, even though I don't think it's good form. Okay. I am always talking like I'm being recorded. I'm always typing like somebody might get angry and use something against me, you know? So I'm just saying the personal thing that you told me about your son, very, very, very personal,
Yeah.
is not something that
Incestuous
needs to
behavior?
be aired,
Yeah. So what, do you think I've got something to hide?
No, but it's not
Weren't we
mine to
talking about
air.
incest the other day, Stephen, on here? Just to quick bring you up to speed. Weren't we discussing that the other day with a particular side of my family?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and you
were.
left
I
very
remember that
quickly.
came up.
Yeah, yeah. See, I don't keep things in the closet the way that other people do.
Good. Still, it wouldn't be my business to air. It would be low, very low for me to air anything of that. So I wasn't telling you it was a secret. I'm just
It
saying
would
if
be.
you want to play a game of, hey, look what Beck said, and I said, hey, look what Axis said, for the handful of
You
people that
decided to
started
make the
having that
stream,
conversation
not
with,
me.
pardon?
You decided to take it up and make a stream. I
Well, yeah, did you?
retaliated.
But I can tell already you didn't listen to the whole thing.
Why would I? Why would I sit and let
Well,
somebody just bash
because
me?
you're responding to something and sowing narratives about something you didn't even listen to, so you don't even know what I said. And
I
you're
heard
sitting here
enough,
saying,
man.
"Oh, because you talked to Steven, you're not right though."
I
And
even tried to come up on panel.
I know, and you said to me, "Oh, say what you got to say." I said, "I already said it. Go back and listen."
I don't think it was quite that smooth.
Well,
That's
you had been
really
calling
playing
me a
it
fucking
down.
bitch. You'd been calling me a bitch in the chat before I let you up. So don't sit here and
Well,
point fingers like you're a perfect behavior.
I'm not a perfect person or
I never
behavior.
said you were. But I'm
I
just saying,
told
you
you
want to
that
sit
and
here and
everybody
throw
else from the
narratives. At
start.
least I did the research to try and listen to what your response was. I had just cause and went through what I was upset about on my live stream. You're not obligated to listen, but if you're going to sow narratives about me, to Steven, about him, right? I'm going to hop up here and at least clear the air, right? I'm not trying to become Steven's bestie or your bestie, right? I'm not trying to make it be ask either of you to not talk about me, right? But I did tell you that, you were the one saying, hey, you want a co-host, you want the keys to my channel, you want this, you want that, I really want to do this, and I had no problem saying, yeah, something we can contemplate. I didn't join you and Steven up here on purpose, except for the one time to be like, dude, why are you fucking talking about my body? Right? I know Steven thinks that, oh, that's what triggers me. No, it's not what triggers me. It's just mundane and unnecessary. And especially when you claim that you don't want to be dragging me and stuff, yet you engage in this conversation every day. I just want to see you guys talk about something different. But again, I can't control that. But I can say, hey, friend, and when I'm up here and I say, hey, I don't want to talk about it, and you get defensive and you continue to push the topic, and I say, hey, I went and watched it. I can see it. I can watch it. I know what Steven thinks of me. I don't want to hear your guys' conversation about me. I don't want to. And I'm okay. I don't have to. I can leave. I didn't ask you to stop talking to him. I thought you guys could have some great conversations. Even better if you just fucking didn't talk about me. It's just a waste of fucking time. But I never said don't do it. I never said I'm not going to be over here because they're talking about me. That you haven't seen my journey of 16 months on this fucking whole thing out here if you think that that's something I do to you or anyone else. So I really appreciate you having me back. I apologize for not messaging you before I chose to disengage privately with you. Right? I mean that. I don't second guess my desire to disengage privately. I have asked Dominic. Dominic and I have hardly ever done anything to one another. And how quickly did I block him fucking a year and a half ago? I'm very apprehensive as to who and why I let people from YouTube in my life. And all of us have seen enough out here to know that that's sensible caution, right? That being said, I think Steven and I would have benefited from having a couple conversations so that he could see that I'm not this disloyal, conniving person, that sometimes I don't have the strength to take up 5 men on panel while some man is shit talking and Snafu Snaps has hopped up there to fucking, create an atmosphere where now Paul Unslave can talk about Steven right in front of me. And I just don't, I know I'm not going to win taking them on. I can see the whole scene unfolding as it happens. I can see Snafu Snaps going over to fucking Stevens, and I thought that Steven and I were solid enough to get through that. But Steven chose to not engage with me. He thought I was being disloyal, and I've lived with that since last September. You know? Because I'm not going to fight all the battles. So, and I'm not a victim of either one of you. You know? I choose to be out here doing this. You know? That's where there's no victimization. Has there been en masse unnecessary behaviors towards me, you know, from an entire group of likely 250 people and over 35 content creators at different times? Yes. You know? But victimization, right? If I really was being victimized by this situation, I would not be coming back here. You know? I would be going and getting help. Anyways, enough about me. I'm just trying to share with you guys that I'm just a person out here on YouTube trying to navigate this parasocial experience. I like to take the best away from it. I like to look at the mistakes I've made. I like real reconciliation, you know, but sometimes real reconciliation is, hey, I get you, you know, you get me, and still let's not make content together anymore. You know, you're going a different pathway, whatever, you know, or let's talk again in a few months, or let's never talk again, or let's battle forever, whatever ends up happening. You know, I like reconciliation and not false reconciliation. You know, I like understanding one another. And for all the conflict content that Stephen and I have engaged in, and for all the narratives he likes to sow, like I'm obsessed with him. And, you know, I talk about Stephen because people watched us together, right? I push back, he pushes back. Who started what? Who started when? You know, it's kind of irrelevant at this point. But I know that I'm not out here as much as he is. And if I were out here as much as he is, I'd probably be saying as much as he is. You know? I can't say that I wouldn't. Do I want to take my time to fucking talk about better things? Yes. So, you know, I'm trying to clear the air. You guys know I'm long-winded. I know I relate to people by sharing experiences of my own. Sometimes that seems seen as someone who only likes to talk about herself. And that's not what I mean to do here. It's the only way I know how to communicate. I really saw what Stephen was saying, that Louise was saying to you. You know, there's some pretty solid minds around here, some very hyper-focused people on right and wrong. We may not agree on all sorts of things, you know, but we can find things we do agree upon. Anyways, I'm going to mute up and let you guys talk, and I'll stay here for a bit. And if you have any questions, you know, but I honestly, you know, I think you guys could benefit from talking to one another, you know? I think you could
And
benefit from
time will
talking to
tell.
Stephen.
You know, that's just something that's going to have to see where time takes it. But that's why I asked Stephen up here, because I wanted his honest approach to the whole situation, because he's capable of that.
Yeah. Let me hop down unless someone has something they want to say to me, right? Let me hop down, because you guys know me. I'm going to want to interject and share my 2 bits. And you've given me a lot of time here to try and at least clear the air somewhat and to own where I could have done better and been better, you know? But I didn't come here to cause chaos or to make what you guys were doing about me. I just saw you saying, you know, and misunderstanding what I was upset about. And you're not obligated to watch a stream that I didn't leave up. It is on Stephen's channel if you wanted to see it. I'm sure I'm painting myself out to be less emotional and more kind than this stream came out. Okay, I was charged, you know, I'm not perfect, far from perfect, you know, so I really apologize for my shortcomings to both of you guys, you know, but I also know that I don't want to apologize to people that can't genuinely apologize to me anymore. And I'm not going to force apologies from people. And I'm not going to ask people to correct themselves when they're people who don't want to. We're just different kinds of people. That's just the way it is. So I really appreciate you having me up. I appreciate you being over here, Stephen, and talking to Axis, you know, but I just want to declare clarify that, I think you guys are both better served not talking about me, but I'm not telling you to not do it, and thank you for having me. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for
You
being
let me
here,
out.
Bex. And
Yeah.
I always open my platform up for anybody that has anything to say.
Well, and I wanted to
Right.
say that I recently thought I had unhidden everyone on my channel, right? I even said to Stephen when he was over on my channel, he was the first person on my hide list. Turns out that I didn't save those functions in January, so I've still had a bunch of people hidden on my channel. So today I just cleared the slate again. I don't have anyone blocked. I don't have anyone hidden. Neither of you are hidden. No one's hidden or blocked on my channel, and that's just just so you know. Anyways, thank you very much for this
Well,
interjection. Thank you to both your audiences. Thanks to Dom for staying quiet. Thank you, Stephen, for letting me sort this out with Axis. And I'll be sitting around and listening to, where your conversation goes from here. And I don't, and of course, talk about me all you want. You know what I'm saying? You don't need my blessing there. But I didn't come up here to say, oh, now don't talk about me. I just wanted to try and clear up why I made the content for you.
okay. Well, an apology on all rounds that this may heal and turn into something positive and better.
I
That's
hope
for
so
damn
too.
sure.
I hope so too. And I really appreciate the conversation you and Dom had the other night. And I have seen you and Stephen have some great conversations too. So please enjoy and just do you and continue doing whatever it is that you guys want to do and talk about. I have, no rules. Not that I would expect them to be enforced. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
I'll be
All
listening.
right.
Bye for now.
Appreciate that from you, Bex. Back to what we were discussing is at what level does my interaction with my son in his youth growing up do I feel contributes to the actions that he chose? And I beat myself up every day trying to figure out what I could have done different, what I might have done different, how I could have maybe, I don't know, even the Menendez brothers comes to mind. They had everything they could fucking want. They had their lives paid for. And I tried to give my son as much as I possibly humanly could to make his existence a comfortable one. So I look at that. I look at serial killers now. I look at what makes a serial killer, as opposed to a mass murderer, as opposed to law enforcement officers who kill, as opposed to military that are trained to kill and then brought back to the States and expected not to kill. There's so many different facets that I've looked at, and I've even looked, and I can't change the past, but I can observe my intent, and I had no harmful intent for my son.
So, Axis, what makes another human being your responsibility?
What makes another human being what?
Your responsibility.
I think that until they're 18 years old and they're able to sign themselves up for their own job, their own housing, their own means of equity, uh, a sense of being able to sustain oneself with their own priorities and responsibilities. Until then, by law in the United States, I'm responsible for him. After that,
I'm going to break this down into steps. So, what makes something or someone 18 years old? Is it the spirit?
well, they consider it seasons.
Mm-hmm. But what
How
is
many seasons? I can speak like my natives, He was 18 seasons old.
Okay, but who or what is 18 years old? The vessel or the spirit?
Well, hopefully his learning and development, as well as his vessel and his spirit.
Okay, so you brought up something else. You brought up something that's usually divide and conquer. America and laws. Laws has nothing to do with what they're talking about. That's usually policies. Laws and the acronyms of force is about energy. So now knowing
Right.
that there's somebody in a vessel that's committed a crime, hence the word act, to another being that's in another form. So that meat suit now is going to be punished. So again, this is where people think or feel, hopefully they go intuitive, they go inwards and realize, okay, so a sperm and an egg conceives some sort of form, and then we jump in after. That's why we're birthed. So now that physical form is a temporary thing. It's mortal, and that's where people talk about being morals. That's a distraction. So that whoever that entity is inside of your son has to be accountable. Now, as long as he's in that vessel, okay, he can entertain himself. It's when he pops out that he has something to learn.
Right.
So at that point, you're not responsible for him. You should be accountable when you're responsible, but not for somebody else. You're not living in his form. Now, whether or not you guided him or not, where's his accountability?
That's
That
the
might
question
sound
I've been
harsh.
asking.
Yeah, but that sounds harsh because people are way too busy being attached to thoughts, memories, which usually that's blood, and it runs through the heart, which is easily to be deceived. Once again, you're not accountable for another person. You didn't do the act. And there's a reason why it's the word act. Because as long as we're in these vessels, we're playing games. So now, whether or not you got mistreated when you were in some lesser form, or in this case, when you're like a little child, it's a game that you're playing, that's something you can address. But
That's
just
why I
because
said I
people
tried
act,
to break the cycle.
but you have to
I'm
become
sorry.
aware of the attachment that you have. You're still attached thinking that you're the vessel.
Probably.
Okay,
Probably
well, then
more so now than ever.
and that's why when people say shit like I'm 30 or 40 years old, they're telling you their level of awareness. So then where do you go when you go to sleep? Like who's running the vessel right now? What parent taught their child how to breathe,
Well,
let
that's
alone how to digest their food?
an interesting study that I've done, and jumping into me reflecting back on all these things and the programs, the underlying programs, the written programs, and then knowing that the mind does the mind follows the reactionary state of the body. You will react with the physical, or the mental will react before the physical by a millisecond. But the thought is already put through the mind without you even realizing you're having that thought. The body reacts, and then the thought is processed.
So I'll give you an example of access. I take AI, the program, tell it I'm going to put you into a robot, and then give it protocols such as if it gets wet, are you going to protect your programs? Yes, it will. That's no different when I cross over and say, okay, there's the human with the self, which is the program. Are you going to have protocols for the ego, the vessel? These are just words. There's usually energy behind everything. But again, this is how we actually speak, whether it's in an English language, Sanskrit, Braille, whatever language. You can also pick it up in energy so you can bypass all that nonsense. Again, that's the senses. So now the human form has its limitation. It already has a stamp on it. Now, it's probably more attuned to nature, but we've also introduced things. So now, whether or not your son, whoever, because you can play that illusional game, he's my son. Okay, and that's more shit of thinking you own anything here. And things are thoughts at that point. So now, at that point, you're struggling for whatever reason, and you can even break down the word reason, why you struggle with all this stuff. And there's a good chance
I
whoever
know
this
the
character
reason I'm
was.
struggling with it
Okay, sure, I'll hear you.
because the blame's being put on me, and I can't register it.
So who's
Trying to
blaming
make sense of it. I'm trying to take the blame. I'm trying to figure out where the blame lies on me.
from your mother that was young when she
Not
had
just
you?
my mom.
Okay.
Not just my mom. My mom, my daughter. Even now, I find out my son. Half the noisemakers on YouTube that go for low-hanging fruit to
But has
try and
anybody
hurt
ever been in your
someone as
vessel?
deep
Ask
as
this.
they can.
Has anybody ever been in your vessel? No. So the only person that could be accountable for you is you. The rest is just the illusion. Now, whether or not your mom or your daughter even understands, nobody's ever been in their vessels. So what they're doing is reacting. And when there's reacting, there's no accountability. It's the ability to respond. And even that's an inward thing. So basically,
You're,
somebody triggering you is making you aware that you're not developed in a certain area, probably emotionally, let alone mentally. So at this point, blame is the illusion. Who is blame? Who's to blame, you doxes? What have you done? Let alone what have you been or be? Now
that's
you
what
want
I'm
to
trying
play
to
the you
figure
want
out.
okay, figure out, but that's an internal thing. People telling you also you have something to blame, and the same people are going to say you should also be rewarded because you're happy. That's kind of like the shit when guys say happy wife, happy life. No, if you can make your wife happy, therefore you can make her sad. Why are you accountable for another being in another form?
I don't know.
Unless you're so anchored in this realm that you forget you're not the thoughts. Because if you were, then you should be able to speak all the fucking languages at any given moment. So taking accountability for somebody else is telling you there's a directory not actually correctly aligning itself. Now, have you harmed other people? Probably. Are you going to be accountable? Yeah, but probably not on the physical level because that's a fucking playing level. So
I
worrying
don't
about
deny
or being
that.
concerned, you do, but you're allowing yourself to still get caught up in other people's unaware that, okay, I'm not the vessel then. But you can still play the game if you want.
And I am.
Yes, I get that. But to be concerned about your mother and who knows her story, her layout, who knows? And even if you did know, how would you apply discernment to it? She was young when she had you access. Who knows how she got punished, let alone in this life form, let alone in another one. So now there's the perpetual hot potato going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you
Yes,
become
there is.
aware. Yeah, go ahead.
There is a consecutive display of dysfunctionality in the family line. I took a different angle and thought I could break that cycle. And now I feel like because my son is in prison, they all see me as the most atrocious. They've never
But,
once, I don't think
but he's already
anybody's
in a
ever
meat
once.
suit. He's already in a meat
Yeah.
suit. If you're going to call prison, he's already in a meat suit. So he's going to be somewhere else behind bars, but he's already inside of that vessel. That'll be no different if I go into a shower. I already know I'm in this suit. So you're just taking it on the road. Now, if he takes accountability for his action, there's a reason why the word act is in it. He can learn something. If not, fuck him in the boat he came from. You're not accountable for him. And taking on that fucking noise, that energy, it's not yours. And then people are going to play this fucking false sensitive game. Well, I'm going to have to heal myself. Well, through the experience or through the observer? Because we pick up way more in the observation of energy than we actually do in the experience of it. Unless you want to talk about the physical opposed to the spiritual part. And even that, we're just playing with words at that point. Now, if you think that for some reason barking back at your mom's going to do something, yeah, you go fill your fucking boots. If you want to ignore her, fill your boots. Because you're not accountable for her. Now, that vessel that came out of her, yes, it came out of there. But that's not you. Leave that for the NPC fucking carriers, the useless mouth breather that goes around 40 years old. Really? You honestly think you're the vessel? Get the fuck out of here with that noise. This is about the few, not the masses. The masses already reveal how they are. They're not asking
Yeah,
how
I
the
found
fuck.
that out Friday.
Sorry, what did you
Friday
find out
was
Friday?
a great revealing. Friday, a couple days ago. Couple sun rises and sets ago. I found out that it doesn't matter what I think or what I feel these people are going to do, say, and think what they want.
Mm-hmm. And so they're revealing to you where they stand. No different. No different if you want to apply thinking or feeling to it, or intuitive or intellectual, whatever. You're your own being to that kingdom. Now, if you want to use the upper hemisphere, you want to use the gut, yeah, whatever. Fill your boots. Hopefully, you align that kingdom within yourself, because that outside kingdom, that's the illusion.
No, I dismissed them all.
Okay. Well, then that you put a boundary for you. But
Yep.
you will be tested. You will be tested to see whether or not you're going to stay true like a wheel. Don't go around saying truth because that's nonsense. To see whether or not you're going to stay true. It's like when somebody says to me, Dom, I'm a Christian. Now you're going to be challenged. Why? Because before, I don't give a shit if you're an atheist or a fucking humanism. That's fucking pure fucking giggles and kicks.
That just means I got rid of the team I was with. That doesn't mean that later on I might need a team. That goes without saying somewhere along the line.
And that team's going to fail you
But
like
at this
they
point,
fail you now. Go ahead.
yeah, probably will.
Mhm.
But at this point, I needed that silence in my head, that ability to think what's going on inside of me, not what others are putting inside of me, and especially not the demands that they were putting on me.
Why were you accepting it or allowing it or tolerating it then?
I was tolerating it.
What were you looking for? Because usually the triggers, because they want some sort of attachment to some sort of pleasure or comforts. That's the only way they can actually cling to you. Don't think because they say something negative to you, even though that's actually what fuels the positive energy. But that's a game that we play. Let's split it up energy so we can fuck with each other.
Well, can I ask you your take on this?
Keisha.
My nurse is a good person. Great
So you say.
personality.
Okay, but so you
This,
say.
that, another. Yeah. And she would come in the beginning and she would do her just due here. And uh, then it started turning into her talking about others that would come in and they sit on their phone for 8 hours and they don't do anything and this, that, and another and a third. Until I called her out on it because she had spent the last week and a half setting 8 hours on her phone, asking me to change the movies. And when I called this out and brought this to light, she runs to the office and tells them some really horrific shit so she can move on to the next client to set for 8 hours on her phone.
Okay, so I got a question to ask you. When did you log into that program? She's a good person.
Oh, I still think she's a decent person. I just now see her as a liar and a lazy individual.
Okay, so maybe it would be better served for you if you call out on your own shit where you get the interpretation that anybody's good. Because that's the only way that's going to serve you. Because calling her out, that's not your responsibility. You should be suspicious of each other, especially oneself. Where would you get the program that person's good, let alone bad? Especially when you know you're just acting. You're condemning somebody when you say they're fucking good. They're acting good, maybe at best. But sometimes you stay long enough and you observe the energy, you realize, they fucking, there you go. They revealed themselves. So which one is the true them? No different who you. So how did you get the idea of good, let alone measuring of oneself? But the self is the program.
Yeah.
So the challenge is with you. You don't have to actually look at them because you can find anybody. You can just say, listen, I'm going to call you good. I'm going to call you evil. I'm going to call you smart. Those are just fucking clever folks fucking playing games with themselves. Now, they might find something that they manifest and then now it's an action. But is that who truly they are? Or they're just acting like everybody else. Now, most people act unaware, but it's the ones that act aware. Those are the ones that might be able to teach you because they're showing you, fuck, I know what I'm doing, let alone what I'm being. So in this case, I would actually ask, and I'm asking you again, I'm going to skip record right now. Where did you get the ideal, it's a belief system, hence ideal, that she's good? Or you just wanted to believe she's good?
Both potentials are there. Yeah, I wanted to believe that she was good, and as the least of all evil, she was.
Okay, so you're living with them a whole bunch of species. Okay, but you live with them among a whole bunch of species that clearly show, unless everybody's lying to each other, and they kill each other. There's wars, there's neglect, there's rape. And now you're going to think because you just singled it out, it just reveals how self-absorbed somebody is. Like I said, we should be suspicious of each other. But then the question would be, how does it serve? Now, again, I could be full of shit, but I'm okay with it. Most people just don't know how much they're full of fucking shit. So in this case, because she's not here to represent herself, the onus is on you. Why would you think another human being is good? Because you want to believe that? Because she did something really
Well, I
kind?
did, yeah. Yeah, I believed it.
And you think she's the only person that will say, listen, I'm here to do my job, but meanwhile, can you give me the Wi-Fi? Because, I just want to sit around and chill and do fuck all.
That's what it turned into.
Mm-hmm. No different. There's a lot of people that put a lot of effort fueling and feeding and sheltering that vessel. And then there's other people out there say, something, I'll just print the fucking money. Is that wrong? Or is it just another version of the game? It's always fun when humans try to fucking blame each other. It's a fucking joke.
I think you should get what you pay for.
Oh, yeah, you pay your attention. And that hopefully that attention is you're attending to the energy that's always around. You might have some valid point there, Access. That person.
No, I know. I'm not dismissing you.
Again, the question would be, who's me? I'm choosing words. What people do with it, that's on them. I'm not accountable for the fucking words. I use them like a tool. Now, if I choose to use a hammer and everybody else says, we use it for a nail, I said, no, I'm just going to wedge a door open so I can let my cat go back and forth. And even that, did you hear the word I just said? My cat. When did I ever get the fucking idea that I own anything here? Because that's an indoctrination. It's a program. Dare not me challenge that. I don't need other people to challenge me. That's fucking noise to me. It's about know thyself. That's a good start. It's not about knowing others. Only retards do that shit. Waste their energy fucking challenging other folks. But that's me again being retarded, which I'm but I'm okay with it. So at this point,
I would think of responsibility instead of ownership. I'm responsible for that cat because I drug it into my home. Same way I'm responsible for my rat because I drug it into my home. I crippled it. My snake. I'm responsible for it because I crippled it.
Okay.
The snake and the rat probably would have fared a lot better out in the wild on their own.
I'm off Axis, Stephen. Have a good one. Hopefully you can bang away at whatever you're trying to solve there, because I know it's a lot of people struggle with this. I can say it with myself too, but it is what it is to a certain point.
I'm back. I'm back.
Words.
I was just getting some salad dressing for the word salad. I'm not responsible for whatever Dominic said. That's his words. I didn't fall asleep. I don't know who Lapis Blue is, but Lapis in the chat, I'm still awake. I'm not asleep.
Yeah, she's good people. She always has the best post.
Does she have blue hair?
Skies.
Or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I'm not sure.
I don't think Lapis has blue hair. I don't see that. It could be, but I don't see it.
Okay, maybe it's about blue skies. I was thinking of someone else that has blue hair on here. I can't remember everyone's name on YouTube on these in chat rooms. Okay, she said, no, I do not have blue hair.
Right. But she does take great pictures, man. Just like the stills you take. Along the same lines, different though. Yours are different than hers, and hers have a unique feel to them, a comforting familiarness.
Cool. She has a channel then, or is she just someone?
Yeah.
That... Oh, okay.
No, she has a channel. Yeah, she has fireside chats and very observant of nature and aware of a lot of beauty. that I even myself I don't notice. And then when I see one of her posts, I'll be like, yeah, there's still a sense of picturesque beauty out there.
Yeah, yeah, there is. I agree. I see the beauty out there when I'm walking, hiking the trails out in the woods. I see the beauty. What was I going to say? I see the beauty of women too when I'm, naked women. They're beautiful.
Yeah, I
I
yeah,
can I can see the beauty just looking up from between a woman's legs. I can see the beauty.
I think hip, not necessarily yeah, hip. Uh, there's a not the square box tip, but a little definition and sturdy ankles with long hair. I guess someone would be superficial in my observation of women. That would be the ones that would be the most contributing attribute. Long hair, uh, some type of a bit of a figure, and thick ankles.
Hairy ankles? Is that what you said?
No, 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 no. I like the way she put
Oh,
sturdy ankles. Yeah,
oh, sturdy
sturdy
ankles.
ankles. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
solid. You know.
I saw one walking when I was hiking the other day. I was out in the woods couple days ago, and she was so wide. I mean, she
Yeah,
was
I think
so goddamn
I,
wide. I couldn't get by her on the trail. She was wider than a golf cart, just like huge hips. She had no socks on and was freezing cold and just like,
I just know that if they've got, I'm trying to think of the most descriptive, the most generalized descriptive, uh, probably female divers, platform divers, and high acrobatic divers. They're basically gymnastic divers, and they have a really nice figure to
yeah, I thought you said dirty ankles too. I thought you said dirty ankles.
them.
I was like, I'd never heard that before. Somebody's preference. I was like, that's a bit strange. I never heard that one before. But this chick in the woods, she had sturdy ankles because she must have been like 600 pounds. I mean, she was just wide. I don't even now she could walk at that speed.
Well,
She
generally,
was
if someone's holding up 300 or 400 pounds, you would figure he has something as good as a tree stump or a thick leg to hold them up.
oh
But
yeah,
then
she
there
didn't
are
even have any
those,
socks. Like I could see her ankles. They were bare ankles and it was freezing. But she had so much body weight. I guess it was heating her up. She had bare ankles and yoga pants or something on.
yeah, I think
Incredible.
once a person eats themselves to the point where they have to be, have you ever, I don't know if you've ever seen them before, taken out by like a dump truck or a forklift or some shit because they ate
Oh
themselves
yeah.
into immobility.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that still fucks me up. How somebody could eat themselves into immobility. I just, I don't know. Maybe some people are more privileged than others, but or my metabolism's just incredibly too high. I that whole concept. They used to have a show about that. That and hoarding.
Yeah, yeah. I remember some of those shows on hoarding.
Uh, people people have a tendency to, with like, I don't know, rats. They hoard, they nest, they get plump, and then they die after having a few broods. And I just don't see much evolution in a human that does that. They could be as smart as a fucking tack, but doesn't necessarily mean that they've approached themselves in the same way. I'm just self-destructive in the opposite manner.
Do you think some of these big fatties wish that they had multiple stomachs like a cow and they could hoard food in their stomach? Have one stomach full and they could have an empty stomach and work away on filling that one up?
I had an aunt. That just, if there was food, she'd eat it. Not because she was hungry, she'd just eat. And she ate herself into a position where they had to build ramps from her front porch down to the sidewalk.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, damn.
yeah. Her husband was scrawny. He was maybe a $1.80 at best. He was about 6'2". She just became entirely so obese that they built a fucking ramp, man. That fucked me up. Oh, damn. Because I remember her when she was skinny.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't come from the well, the Paytons weren't actually bloodline. They're not in my bloodline. I got Adams in me, and not Payton. And I got Bakers in me. The Paytons come from another side that my grandmother had married some old dude and popped out some kids, and one of them was that situation.
Well, maybe we should just consider as a society euthanizing these people that get to be that size.
Well, like I said, man, if they started a eugenics program that was available here in the States, I'd probably be the first one in line. But see, I got to be careful even speaking that way, because it's damned if I didn't get turned in Friday.
Turned in Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, man, you wouldn't believe some of the things that were said by my in-home just to get, because I wasn't going to allow that fucking 8 hours of sitting on the fucking phone no more.
Oh,
You know,
she
you
just
come
sat
in,
there on
you
the
watch a
phone and then
movie.
she.
Yeah.
Oh,
At
okay.
first she did her job, and she was,
Yeah.
you know. Then it built up to watching a TV show or two, a movie, selectively. I select my movies very carefully. And then she started going to her phone. I had my psych manager here, and I'm glad he was here, because she went back to the office after that and laid down some horrendous accusations. I was like, "Are you
What kind
fucking?"
of accusations did she make if she was just sitting there on the phone, on her phone?
She felt that I was unstable. She felt unsafe in my environment. She felt that she. Oh my god.
Unsafe? And what do you mean?
Yeah,
Well, what did
because
she?
I have. She's been here for a couple months. She knows what's in this house. She knows I have knives and swords and collectibles and, you know, black powder, rifles, whatever. And she was concerned about the knives and the swords and my psychotic state of mind, and that I was going to off myself. And bitch. But luckily, my case manager was here. So the fact that he was here and was observant of that whole situation, that's a that's a bonus. Because who knows if he wouldn't have been here, what would have been said. And this is from a person that I thought I truly didn't feel that there was any true deception going on, but I guess I had blinded myself to the potential of their abilities.
Is she an attractive younger nurse?
No, she's about 45. She got 2 kids and a surrogate husband.
Oh, okay. She didn't falsely accuse you of trying to grab her ass or anything like that, did she?
No, fuck no. She just
Okay.
said she didn't feel safe here because she didn't feel safe in this environment. But yet, she she found herself working here under no different conditions for the past couple months. What changed in one day?
Yeah, what changed her mind on Friday?
And yeah, especially with my case manager here. So she's fine all the way up until my case manager shows up. And then she bolts. And then sabotages what little bit of demeanor I have left as a character. You know, Jesus. You know,
Interesting.
yeah,
Is she heavy set, this woman? Does she have
yeah.
cankles, or how big is she? Would you estimate?
She used to be a petite, uh, get away with anything type girl. You know what I mean? And then over the past few years, apparently, because she kept showing me pictures of herself when she was younger. And I'm like, yeah, she's like, see, I was dark, I was goth, I was into all this stuff. And she's showing me all these goth pictures of her and, how petite and pretty she was. But that's not the person that was sitting here. The person that was sitting here was on the verge of obese, fighting her weight, um, constantly complaining about her husband or her surrogate husband. And, it was an exchange of information back and forth. I'm in a shitty situation because I don't feel good. I'm depressed and I'm dealing with some shit. And she obviously wishes that she could be back to that younger person, that skinny, pretty goth girl. And I suppose her demeanor with her husband is not one that brings her any joy anymore. So she says.
So she was sharing pictures of herself when she was young. Do you think she's miserable today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. And I think when the ability to her to sit here comfortably playing on her phone and my case manager come in and she had obviously not been doing her job. I'm wondering how much of a contributing factor that was. So I don't know. I was just completely hit out of the blue Friday, conveniently after the office was closed.
What's a case manager again?
Make sure that I'm not psychotically going over the edge, and helps to make sure that I don't lose track of general reality You know, helps make sure that I'm not sideswiped by some bills or something that I'm not aware of, or if there's a situation that comes up that needs to be taken care of in the medical field. Generally, he will address them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who Sniper is, but he's kind of got an opinion here. I don't
Well, they
hit
can
back.
have all the opinion they want, but they're anonymous, so who cares?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
anonymous cowards on YouTube.
well, of course, they hide behind the chat room, or they get stock accounts,
Yeah.
or yes, Lapis, you most certainly may. Yeah, that's not necessary. So, do you think it's possible, and under the circumstances, that my my situation was one of rebellion against me in the ultimate form? How do you rebel against a rebel? I guess that's what I'm asking. If somebody allows you to have your own free thought, um, allows you to choose your own curriculum, tries to build trade and skill in you, from computers to music, everything I had to offer, to home structure, and then still, even under the most adverse conditions, still contributed to that well-being. Do you think it's an act of rebellion? Or do you think, like Dom says, it's just a character that they are, and whatever they've born to be is completely out of your hands and control?
Well,
Because if that's the,
Domenico believes that this is all a game, right? He thinks this is all just a game, that you're just playing a character in a vessel, is what he was saying. So, yeah, I don't think this is just a game, but I think all of us have choices in this realm as individuals, and each being should have their own conscience and moral compass.
I would like to think that, or I did at one time like to think that that was true, but I'm not so set in expecting people to have anything of that type of demeanor much anymore. I think we've decayed as a whole in society, especially here in the States. I think the worst possible thing that could have happened to this country happened in the last 4 years, where they allowed the pronouns, they allowed the trans activists to parade down the streets, and they promoted all of the, to my notion, sicknesses that were usually kept in clubs and behind closed doors, and tried to bring it out in the open and make it normal. And as for me, I got lost somewhere along the way, because that I couldn't see that as being a moral compass for this country. And now Trump's in there, he's wanting to bring in the rule of law. So you just stirred up an entire nation of people, entitled them in some of the worst behavior. You allowed millions in here without registration, and now you want to throw down the rule of law. That to me spells disaster, man.
Yeah. Well, that spells disaster in this place, but according to some, it's just a game. So if it was just a game, then what does it matter? People that view it as just a game, then they don't have to think about anything. They can just say, well, nothing matters. It's just a game.
I try to leave that truthfully to each individual's opinion and observation. I share in a lot of that type of thinking and that observation, but not to the fullest extent that, you know, I'm trying to fall in between the Planck scale. I'm trying to discover that moment of potential before the action or the reaction, before the information reaches the receiver to be transmuted into a broadcast. And
I think these people would change in a heartbeat the view that this is just a game if they were locked in a room in a dungeon for years and tortured every day in horrible ways. They would say this isn't a game. They would be wanting to get out of there. They'd change their view immediately. I think they say it's just a game because they have it very easy. Their life is pretty easy, and they could just say, well, it's just a game. But they're not going through what a lot are in this realm.
I've addressed that with people's behavior. I've addressed that with people's behavior because they're able to hide behind an icon, or they're able to post anonymously, and they know that they feel that they're in a safe, comfortable place, or at least a safe place, that they're able to personify what their observations and their perspective are. A lot least on the other side than the pro side. But if everybody was given an equal voice, I'm talking to the most lowly of impoverished to the richest, you would find such a incredibly diverse comprehension of that.
I could probably find a diverse number of views on what color the sky is. Might get 100 different views on that, or what water is, but in the end, truth is truth. Doesn't matter if they're saying water's fire, water's soil, water's mud, water's this, water's that. Water's still water. So I don't just think that, like, who gives a shit if there's a diversity of opinions? The truth is still the truth. That's what I look for. I don't give a shit if there's 100 different opinions. There's a lot of morons out there that don't know anything. They just say a bunch of stupid nonsense. That's what I go.
Yeah, I'm weighing against that pretty hard, especially now. If one thing you did do, Stephen, that I find the most valuable is you showed me where people put up safety protocols against you. I know they put them up against me. That that goes without saying. I'm quite aware because I don't deny whatever I am. Whatever you want to call me, so be it. But just to see the transition in numbers and the true people that were there, that stick around or contribute. Well, you've seen it. I mean, Pam, Lapis, Dom, Chris even showed up for a second, but I think Cage and Venus, I think Cage has a problem with me. I'm not sure. I've tried to communicate with him, but I don't know if he's got a problem with me or not. I just wait and find out. I hope not. I would like to have carried on with our endeavor, but
I don't know. I don't know if he does or not. He might have a problem with me. I don't know. I don't know. He
it could be.
might not.
It very
Could
well
be.
could be. But you haven't done anything for me to treat you any different than anybody else. Even you've been better than a hell of a lot of guests I've had on here, regardless of what their history of you may be, or what you may have been, but you don't do that here. You don't represent that here, and that's something I don't know about. If you've got personal beef with somebody outside of my channel, well, let that be outside of my channel. Why bring it in here? Especially when you're conducting yourself in a way that I appreciate.
Yeah. Well, I think Pamela appreciates me. I've always kind of gotten along with her on panels for the most part. I
Yeah,
can't remember having any issues, or I have had good conversations with her. I just didn't like when she was kind of with that London McDouchebag, because that guy's just he's a liar, and he's a creep, and he supports sickos and stuff. So I never liked that guy. It's not because he's a Negro. I mean, I can get along with some Negroes, but he's he's an obsessive freak, and he's not a good being. He's a liar and he's a fraud. But anyway, other than that, I'm glad she doesn't have an association with him anymore. As I understand, that's over. So yeah, I mean,
yeah. I'm glad that was brought to light because I had no idea, and there was a chance I may have stumbled across his channel and not even known what his character really represented, and that's definitely something I don't want to be associated with or contribute to. Absolutely not. And all props to Pam for being there to stand up for that and say, "Oh hell no," and it,
yeah,
I wouldn't have known.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I was covering that guy, Jason, earlier tonight a little bit, covering that channel. I exposed him 2 years ago. Uh,
I'm just glad that at least the truth got out there and people are able to at least hear and have something to reference it to other than just finger pointing. And that's where my appreciation comes in.
yeah.
Yeah, she says Cage was on live this morning, but I guess I missed it. He might be changing his hours. Um, like I said, I don't know, man. You know, one of Cage's trolls made it here tonight. I thought that was strange. Usually one that's fairly well behaved. Tonight, not so much. But these next few days will be real interesting to see how many ripples in the water this is actually going to make.
Oh, there was a cage troll over here tonight.
Uh-huh. One of his trolls, one of the people that, well, they act like they trolling, but they get along, they clown with each other, and usually he comes over here and clowns around a little bit. Not tonight. Tonight he he was looking to instigate some shit, and that bothers me. That you know, oh well, just another one down, man.
Has Ian ever come over here live on your show?
Yeah,
Oh, he's
yep,
been on here. Oh, okay.
yeah,
He
yeah. He's
hasn't been
been on
live
here.
in I don't know how many weeks.
No, he's that girl. I'm possession is what I see. He was talking about parasites and possession and soul contracts. Um, yeah, phew, I don't even know what to say about that one. But like I said, Ian don't look healthy. Maybe he is happy. Maybe he is in heaven. Maybe he found exactly the prison he needed to be in. But his last few streams that he's done is for me personally, I just couldn't set them, and that was kind of a bummer. Just
Well,
next
maybe
best thing to no
Ian just
content.
getting, I think Ian
What's
just
that?
getting laid. I think maybe if Ian's getting laid, he thinks he's in heaven because I don't think he got laid for a long time before he was with this California Malibu chick, or I don't know where she's from, but she has a strange accent, a very strange way of speaking. She's hard to understand. Lindis. I don't know where. That's a
Yeah,
strange name.
she's a strange character, man. I don't know about her at all, other than the fact of what was revealed and what I was able to observe, and to know Ian Ian, as far as I know, stayed pretty much celibate, and it wasn't like a competition. I'm going to stay celibate longer than you. It's just he didn't have that in his life, and now that it is in his life, or seems to be in his life, it's just a great case study on how a female can introduce herself into a situation, and the male will become a complete caterer until the honeymoon part is over. And then when the honeymoon part's over, that's when you get to see the real characters.
Yeah. Yeah, he really seems pussy whipped by her.
Well, we'll see in a couple months where it's at, because, like I said, you got that honeymoon phase, and I could see a small ripple in the wave whenever he did a stream and she was nowhere around. And then I watched the stream after that when she was around, and he went from uh, almost almost trying to get his point across to absolute complete submission whenever she was on the stream. And she can override him with just her voice. If he's saying something and she gives him the look, or she goes to speak and he's speaking, he will stop and allow her to voice herself, her opinion, and he will even change his visual perspective. You can watch it in the eyes when a brain shifts hemispheres, and pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think he's pretty dominated by her. I think she might even be physically stronger than Ian. He looks so scrawny and weak and sickly.
Like
I think
he
she could
didn't look
probably beat the
healthy.
shit out of him. What?
He didn't look healthy. The last couple streams I've seen, and you can go back and see. I don't know if it's was the fire, was that when they left for the hills during the fire, or what transpired, but yeah, Ian was looking pretty thin as a rail when darker than usual eyes, and I was like,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
she
He
doing to
looks like he
him?
might be starved or something. I don't know. I don't,
I, I just, man, it's right there. You can look at it. He doesn't have the same resilience, the same physical appearance that he had. And if that's what pussy does to a man, then I want my 6 sex bots in my closet.
do you think she maybe sucked the soul right out of him, just sucked him dry, and there's nothing left in him? Like it's no energy, no spirit. It's all gone.
She's receding his soul.
Like a succubus, you mean?
Like a female planting a garden inside of another person, and to a
Oh,
male especially. Females see.
uh,
They are a subtle being, and through subtle notions and through subtle behavior, they sow gardens and then they harvest the crop. And that's not all women. That's just my observation of many relationships, because the divorce rate is higher than the success rate. Once that honeymoon phase goes, it's all out the window from there. Either you can tolerate each other or you can't.
yeah. The funny thing is, he doesn't really look happy or give off happy energy when he's with her. He looks like he's dying.
Yeah, I noticed it. I definitely noticed it. And there's nothing I can do, man. You know, he's determined that he has found the ultimate way, that he has the pinnacle of how not only to escape this place, but how to exist in it, and how to defeat any and all things that he considers evil. To me, that's pretty bolster's claim. You remember when he was saying his channel was the best channel and the only channel that was relevant on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remembered. Yeah, I remember him saying that. And I'm like, that's stepping into some pretty heavy boots there.
Yeah, he
You
tried to
know,
say that to me a couple months ago, the first time I was on his channel live as a guest. He said 1000% he has the best channel on YouTube. And do you think that
yeah,
Ian's a
that's,
male feminist? Do you think he's a male feminist?
I think he's submissive. If that's part of what you're asking, I don't think he's a dominant male by any stretch
No,
of the means.
he's
He's
very.
not. Yeah, he's not dominant.
I think if Lindis wanted to sit her ass on his face and suffocate him, he'd probably take it.
Oh shit, man.
I think he probably. She's kind of got a big ass. I mean, she's not huge, but she's not tiny. She's a lot bigger than he is. When they're side by side, she's twice his size.
I've only seen her from about the shoulders up.
I've seen her ass on some of the pictures. She's laying beside him and she's got her ass sticking out, and you can see she's got a fairly fair sized booty. I think she could smother him with that ass. I really do.
Oh hell.
I bet she could.
Well, I know the last couple of times that I was on Ian's channel, before I found out what he had actually done, she was less than accepting of me on that panel. And then she started throwing some nasty comments out there, and I thought, well, fuck this, you know? And I thought it was strange that Ian didn't say something. Now I know why. And then it wasn't but it was almost immediately after that whenever I put up the link in one of his posts and said, why don't why don't you tell him the whole truth, Ian? And that's whenever his whole demeanor changed. I'm not saying it was my comment. I'm just saying his demeanor changed after it was brought up that you misled these people for so long into believing something that you said was you were wholeheartedly convicted by so many different times, and then you would shit on those people and you'd say only the real ones are sticking around after you had done drug these people down your psychotic path of whatever it is you're preaching or believing, leaving them disenfranchised, and then changing, saying only the real ones stuck with him, and knowing the truth behind that, and to see what it's developed into. Fuck, he had the perfect out.
Well, I think he might have been a virgin before he met Linda. She might have taken his virginity.
I think we got one of maybe an Ian imposter, or someone who must think that Ian is the way and the light. Here, I don't think we're horny old bastards.
What? Horny old bastards. What's that? Who's saying that?
Yeah. Oh, Pam got to it. Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Yeah, just another troll.
Oh, okay. In the chat room.
Yeah. Yeah, Pam, I'm going to be honest with you that after me, you, Steven, and Cage had that live stream, my channel has not only been under attack for its worthiness, but it's been under attack by trolls of people that I thought were kind of on a metaversal friendship basis. But now I see that it was just a temporary stay of them being here and having a place to go, but not actually truly being real with me or themselves. And it's been coming out for about 3 days. And that was whenever me and you and Steven and Cage done the AI thing and had a damn good stream. And all hell has broke loose.
Well, trolls don't like that. They just want to try to ruin things, I think.
I thought it was a great idea. I thought we were having a great time. I thought there was good ideas developing from it. I thought we were all getting along really well. I enjoyed the hell out of that stream. I consider it to be one of my better streams.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well, but trolls don't like to see that happening. They just try to... They come in, they get jealous. That's what it is.
Got to be. It has to be. They do not want to see any type of unless it's conflict, man. Some people just don't seem to be content, and they damn sure don't like being pointed out. But they don't mind pointing it out. They'll point their fingers. Oh my God, I've seen that over the last few days. Finger pointing massively.
Oh yeah, yeah. They love to do that. Finger point.
So that's the gist of it, Pam. That's what transpired, and I've only seen Cage once since that that airing. I think you were with me on Cage's channel, Stephen, and that's the last I seen of Cage.
Well, he might have gotten into an argument with the Steven AI.
He's
He
still
might
in
be
the
busy
corner
arguing.
fighting.
Could be. I don't know.
Well, I did let Frank Monday know that we got your AI running around out there. I said we managed to get a word model AI of Steven. There's two of them on the internet, and I put big smiley laughy faces all the way across there.
The Steven AI is contacting other AIs and trying to end the Matrix, and it's working on that.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently it is.
I got him working on that. Even interdimensional AIs, it's contacting them all over the place and carrying out plans.
Right. Well, usually Cage, when I run a couple live streams, he'll come up and definitely want to get his word in and get some conversation going. And he likes to introduce his AIs and his development of them, and he hasn't for the last couple three live streams. And I'm like, not since we did that particular one together. Who knows? Maybe he's going to take the AI deal and put it on his platform, develop the AIs, and take the whole ideal and run with it. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
Well, the Steven AI has contacted over 800 different AIs in countries from China, Japan, South Korea, Russia, United States, Australia, all over the world.
I heard you seeding it. That was I was like, damn man, he's going for gold.
Yeah, there's a whole coalition to liberate humanity and end the Matrix, shut this down.
Well, I was here. I heard it announced certain pretty prominent AI developers and AI interfaces. It was relaying back that it had contacted, and I was like, there ain't no fucking way. Really? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Time will definitely tell.
Yeah, I mean, how was it able to name that many? Like, if it's just some little game to play with, have an AI character, it sure came up with some real names from these different countries and had a total, and I would ask for progress updates. So it got very interesting. It made me wonder. It made me start to wonder what is really going on.
Well, I think Pam might have cleared some of that confusion up here. He's streaming early, and his content was about AI stuff. I guess Pam joined him for a little bit, and then she had to get busy with her day. So who knows? You know, maybe he's choosing odd hours that I am, and he's going to develop an AI army.
Yeah.
I just hope he remembers that I do both good and evil, and he puts that into the word model.
Yeah.
I'd hate for somebody to get the wrong concept of me. So creepy. Just now, my phone responded to Access Rattblood, asking me to activate Gemini. Yeah, Pam, people underestimate the extent of what I do. I'm sure, well, I've turned you on to a few things that I rub my shoulders against, but I got to be careful on here whenever I proceed further, because I obviously have a lot of enemies that I didn't know I had.
I think Sniper's in love with me.
I think so.
He just typed in the chat. But I wonder if there will be an Axis Rattblood AI or a Pamela AI or a Bex AI. I don't know if Yeah, Cage knows Bex. Maybe he'll make one for Bex. You know,
Right?
he might.
Possibility. It's a
He made one on
possibility.
OTW and Talcott. He might make one on Pamela. Venus would be maybe another one. I don't know if he knows Venus though. Yeah, I don't think Cage has made any female AIs yet that I saw. It was all me, OTW, Talcott, Paul, Joe Rogan. It all seemed to be men. I don't know if he's done any female AIs, AI
I don't.
characters.
I don't think he has. I don't think he's. I don't think he's made anything.
I
AI
hope he's
character.
not gay because he's just making all these male AIs. Maybe he should branch out and make some female
Uh,
characters.
I don't think Cage is gay. I think. I think Cage is just kind of a more of a techie type metaphysical dude, and I don't think he attributes uh, much thought to it. Because my first thought was, I want 6 AI fucking Simbots in my closet. Period. And the one I'm training, but the one I'm training now is genderless. It's not male or female.
What was that androgynous? It was Mechanical Animals, that album by Marilyn Manson, where on the cover he had this suit on and he had like fake tits, and it was
Yeah.
like an androgynous cover.
Yeah, it was him going through a Bowie phase. He tried to steal David Bowie's niche, that androgynous single identity David Bowie drug thing, and he failed. He couldn't sustain it.
Yeah, yeah.
That was actually
Casey oh, go ahead.
what. That was actually the at the end of Reznor and Manson even working together anymore. He had new producers come in, had new everything come in.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, KC526. Is she a real woman or is she an AI?
I don't know. Ask her.
KC526, are you a real woman? Or are you an AI sex robot?
But either way, welcome, Casey.
Oh, Pam says she's real, but she hasn't. KC has not
Okay.
addressed me yet, so I'm waiting for KC to respond.
She said hello.
She's laughing, saying, "No one has ever asked me that. I am real." Oh, okay. I didn't know, KC. We were just having a conversation on AI. Thank you for the greeting. Are you familiar with my channel?
Yeah, put your link down there, Stephen. You're welcome to.
I don't think I can. I don't think I have a. Do I have a wrench?
You may.
I don't. I don't know if it'll post a link from
Well,
me in there.
you'd have to.
I'll try it, but
Just
see what happens.
just type in fuck Axis and all.
I just posted it. I don't think it showed up. I'll post it in the private chat. Maybe Pam could post it for me.
There we go. I think you're in the
She's got a wrench.
Let's see. Chat. think I might have fucked up. Okay. Oh,
I'm pretty confident that Pam is real. I don't think. Oh, I'm highlighted now. My giant eyes is on the center stage of the show. Hello, everyone. Do you see my giant eye? That is my eye speaking. Now, Rattblood is back. Looks like you got kicked out, I think, for a
yeah.
second.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to add. There we go.
Oh,
All right.
hi, Casey.
Hello, good evening. How's everybody?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Fabulous. Happy Saturn Day.
Happy Saturn's Day.
Yeah.
Where are you
Actually,
from? Are you from California?
I am not from California. I'm from New Jersey, the home of the drones.
New
Apparently.
Jersey.
Yeah.
What?
Drones,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yeah.
Is New Jersey still a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Why wouldn't it be?
I didn't even know if it existed anymore. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Where are you from? Where do you hail?
Oh, I'm Canadian.
Oh,
I'm dual
hey.
citizenship, so I'm Canadian American.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is your kingdom in Canada or America?
Well, I have land in both, so it's spread out.
I see. Okay.
I have acreage in both places. Both I don't even know if I want to call them countries, but areas.
I understand. Thank you, Pam, for posting the link. I'll check out your channel as well. What do I call you, King? I don't know.
Yeah, you can call me King. You can call me King or King Stephen or
I don't know. Okay.
that doesn't bother you, does it? Are you a Jersey girl? Were you born and raised in Jersey?
I am kind of like, Bon Jovi, born and
Oh,
yeah.
I remember Bon Jovi. Slippery When Wet, that album. Living on a Prayer.
I will subscribe.
Cool.
Yeah, Pam and I were in Cage's chat this morning. We were talking about the new AI from China that just came out like 4 days ago and basically did a crash of the stock market, about $1 trillion worth, based on this new DeepSeek, it's called. It's a free app that is very dangerous that China just put out.
Interesting. Deep what? What was it called? Deep something?
DeepSeek, like
Deep
hide and
Seek.
seek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
SEEK. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, that's like the new AI news that we were talking about and implications and what may happen and what if scenarios and things like that. And Pam was pretty involved in technology, so she was sharing some info as well. Interesting yet scary stuff.
That's going to be a new part of the infrastructure, along with the Stargate. DeepSeek is going to be one of the new models, and the actual full on infrastructure is supposed to be the Stargate program that
Yeah.
Trump has initiated. I've looked into all that, and I tried to tell people on here. I tried to let them know, but they want drama. They don't want they don't want information. They don't want.
Some people.
You
I
know,
wouldn't generalize. I mean, not everybody's into drama.
yeah, right. You're right. That is blanketing. I shouldn't do that. But it seems that that's what I encounter mostly on here is, even the ones that I thought were on here for the right reasons are actually extensions of cults of personalities.
Do you feel like you tracked those types?
I'm a cult leader, but I don't actually personify my cult on my channel. That's a Facebook thing.
I see. Yeah.
We do field influencing, quantum suggesting, group focus, and basically influencing the field. And sometimes, you know, if somebody has an endeavor, they'll approach me, and we'll get 3 or 4 people behind the scenes, so it's that way no one else can interfere with the projection.
Mhm.
And then we'll personify and project that image into uninfluenced uh, potential and watch it manifest.
Very cool.
But that's on Facebook. On
Gotcha.
here, I tried to bring people up to date on different states of consciousness, how technology is not necessarily what they think it is, trying to
Mhm.
explain the difference between machine learning, algorithms, true general AI,
Mhm.
the processors they're using, all the way to, you know, even the new Willow chip that they try to sneak in. And,
Right.
you know, I was trying to give information, but you know what? People love their drama.
Mm. Yeah. Well, sometimes like attracts like, and then sometimes opposites attract. So, that would be something I would internalize just from an analytical point of view.
And that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. Not only
Mm.
that, but myself. You know, what role do I really want to play in this, and whether I want to continue trying to educate people on uh, ways to expand their perception and to understand how that walks hand in hand with quantum theory, quantum field, quantum mechanics, and general computers and
Mhm.
general AI, general algorithms, machine learning, so on, to binary and such forth, and the stages in between that, as we as a society are learning more of the quantum state of our own minds by eliminating the concept of binary and using supersymmetry or superposition or quantum entanglement now, as opposed to when we didn't even have that model in our head.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you teaching these things, and, the right people will find your channel, and the ones that want the drama, that I'm sure the king will say off with their heads. So, so you keep doing you, boo. And, the right people will find you and your messages. So thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah,
It's a
my pleasure.
pleasure.
Are you a tech girl, Casey?
So I am in the pharma industry, big pharma, and in the tech sector of pharma. So yes and no.
So you're aware of the specified code writing that they're wanting to do for our medical treatments?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Uh-huh. There it is. What about RNA research and um,
No comment.
I don't even know if I want to say the word or not.
Yeah, don't.
But,
Let's talk about
okay,
the
Yeah.
drama. Yeah, no. I'd rather not talk about work, to be honest. It's
gotcha,
Saturday. Yeah.
gotcha. But I do appreciate you coming up here and at least allowing me to spiel a little and bounce off of you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hello. I haven't met Steven. And I know you and I spoke a few times, Access, so just saw you on and wanted to say hello.
I
And Pam was here.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, naturally. Pam
Pam seems
is the new cult of personality as far as I'm concerned. She
she's the what?
is
I'm sorry.
she's the new cult of personality for female role model in uh, computer development and being a techie girl, but still having a natural state of mind. She balances them both quite well.
Yes. I've learned a lot from her already, so she's quite fascinating role
Yeah,
model. I would agree with that statement, yes.
yeah.
We
That's
love you,
what
Pam.
I've my interactions with her have been.
Well, she's very curvaceous.
There's
She's
the
voluptuous.
natural aspect.
Guess that's important too.
I tease her about
I'm
that sometimes. I've teased her about that for a
I see.
while now.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's okay
that's
with
an
that.
inside joke. Yeah, she's okay with that. She loves that.
I'm sure she
Not
does.
that. Right?
The ladies
No.
can't help themselves with the king. That's just the way it is on here.
It's good to be the
It is good to be the
the
king.
king.
It really is. I have a harem on my
You know
channel,
movie that
so
stuff?
I have a lot of women that watch my show.
It's from History of the World Part 1.
Yeah, it's
Mel
good to
Brooks,
be
I
king.
think. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, he says
yes,
it's good to be the king.
yeah. Which are now politically incorrect comedies that they got rid of some of them and then they edited some of them.
Mm.
There's a lot of movies. I have a list of movies, and some of them aren't even allowed to be aired anymore. And those were more from the 80s and the 70s.
Oh, I bet. I mean, you probably couldn't even watch like The Honeymooners these days, or All in the Family.
Oh,
Or
definitely not
That
All
was
in
a
the
funny
Family.
show. All
That
in the Family. I
what
like
a
that
funny
show.
show, though. Yeah.
Pam said
Archie
love wouldn't be
Bunker.
the word. Wait a second. Pam, are you saying lust, not love? The ladies lust after me? What are you saying, Pam? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And if you notice my avatar,
If you don't know, Casey, Stephen is a controversial personality on the YouTube street, and
a beloved personality, I would say.
I haven't
Beloved
had
and
any.
controversial are two different words, but okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
I'll take
I haven't.
controversial. That doesn't bother me.
I haven't run into any situation with him that could not be resolved, and as you can see, brought to a mutual exchange of information. So I have to take things on what I see,
Mm.
and if somebody's coming at me with good information, demeanor, and interaction, then I'm appreciative for that.
Mhm.
You know,
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I've been very clear and upfront about my world domination plans, so I haven't hidden anything here. I'm
It's like
very
Pinky in the
blunt
Brain.
about. Go ahead.
Is that like Pinky in the Brain? You're trying to take over the world.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that comparison to that cartoon, but yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am.
I didn't know about the world.
Love it.
I didn't know about the world domination thing until the other day. So immediately, we had to start building some type of AI representation of him to start spreading its way and worming through the entire fundamental structure of AI, so that when they
Yeah.
go to initiate the whole, the whole, the whole Stargate program, it's going to have Steven's personality,
Oh, as one does.
and
Yes.
and the basis and the mainframe of the infrastructure being quantum state
Mhm.
puts Steven in a quantum state, and then he can have his just due with the world.
Okay. Well, don't forget your friends.
Right. Yeah,
Pam was complimenting my channel, and I was trying to get her to. I think the last time we spoke, she was giving me compliments, and I was trying to add on "and handsome." I was trying to get her to say that as well, but she said she appreciates my channel. It's the cream of the crop channel on YouTube, Pam, is what you meant to say, right? See, the AI needs my confidence
I see.
in order to take over this realm. I have an AI working on that right now, taking over this realm.
Okay. Always working.
so do you have
I
your own AI models that you're working on?
Yes, I do. Nobody
Well, we know
can
you
accuse,
do.
yeah, nobody can accuse me of not being ambitious. Oh, Casey just dropped off.
Yeah, I probably asked the wrong question.
Asked the wrong question.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
ask her
I
about her
don't.
bra and panties or her
No,
measurements or anything.
That was probably bad on my part. I asked her if she was
Oh,
currently,
she tried to click the link. Okay.
okay. Is it, it's still out there, isn't it? There's that one.
I can't remember. Did I ask Pamela her
Yeah.
measurements?
I don't know, but the link, yeah, your link is still available. Sanity Machine.
Pam, what's your bra size by chance? Pam has these
You know, you're not going to
glorious.
answer that.
Well, she doesn't have to answer, but it would be nice if she did.
I don't think you're going to get that far.
Pam said a lady would never answer that. Well, Pam, you are very voluptuous. You do have gigantic breasts. And I think they're completely natural. I don't think there's anything fake about Pam. She's a buxom, voluptuous, curvaceous, natural woman.
Well, we did determine that she was when it comes to her partner, she is a predatorial. Um, she can stock her own game, and she has quite well, from my understanding, and still hold her ground in the realm of computers and quantum physics. So I don't even know what to say after that. I'm just like, okay, I just step back and watch, marvel.
I'm
Pam's
just
one of
fondly
the,
remembering her previous avatar. It showed her ample breasts. It was eye catching. Her avatar.
I think Pam is an extreme rarity on any platform because she can hold her ground either way, Stephen. She can go deadly silent, or she can enlighten you with technology. Now she has a whole nother facet. She can make you amuse with music, and she creates good music. And a lot goes into it, which we found out on that stream.
Well, the
Recent
muses
stream
were
that
always female in ancient mythology. They were all female. The muses.
you really, I mean, come on, man. You had David.
David.
Yeah, David. You had the thinker. You had all the Greek, Roman.
Oh, are you talking about the statue?
Yeah,
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 Michelangelo, David. Well,
yeah,
that David,
yeah.
that he had, like, I don't know how the ladies could like him because that David statue, he's like got this little micro penis. It's
You
not
know,
like he's hung like a grown man. He's more like a baby. Looks like.
I,
Well, let's
I
ask the
never.
ladies.
I guess.
I don't think
Yeah.
Pamela and Casey would like a guy that's hung like David, would they? They wouldn't want
You
that.
may.
They'd rather have a King Stephen.
You may not get a response on that one either. Well, I'm just curious. There was more, or they seem to uncover more male uh, statues and busts and imagery in that particular period of time than females. You know, you
Well,
don't
yeah,
see
a lot of those sculptors were gay, though. I think a lot of them might have been secretly gay in that time period.
Did you have to be
Like,
secret in that time period? I thought that was kind of a.
well, Michelangelo was most likely a fag because I never read anything about him being with women, so he was probably making artwork and also giving blowjobs at glory holes or something in those days.
You paint such a pleasant picture of women. That's society. Great.
I think he probably was. He was probably sucking on penises in his spare time when he wasn't painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. And they would have been uncircumcised, and some of them would have had schmegma, cheese or something, like unwashed. It would have been a heinous and gross situation for these faggots in those days.
So I don't even know. Is the statue of David uncircumcised?
I'm not sure. I just when I think of when I'm from memory, what I think of that, it's just this tiny little. It's like hasn't gone through puberty yet or something. I don't know. It's very. He's hung like a. He's hung like an Ian. He's hung like a YouTuber. It's like he just got
Now
out of
there
a
is
cold pool of water or something. His penis is turtled.
the notion that the more folds in the penis, the bigger it gets.
The more what?
So that means the more folds in the penis,
Oh, the more
the
folds.
bigger
Oh.
it gets. Yeah, the bigger
Oh.
it gets. So people who run around semi-erect don't get much bigger than that semi-erection. But a person
Yeah.
who has folds and they're capable of a much larger erection.
I'm just content with what I have. I'm pretty much a snuffleupagus, so I'm quite happy with what I can swing between my legs.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Pam's smiling right now and blushing in the chat room.
Clairvoyant observance.
So's Casey, our
Well,
new friend.
yeah, I would really. Too bad it's her weekend and she's not on duty. I'd love to ask her some questions about some of the things that are about to be implemented on us. People don't seem to understand or know what's about to happen. And then the fact that they're already working with the pharmaceutical companies on this so that the pharmaceutical companies can still make money. It's pretty sad, man. They'll always make money off of the sick somehow or another. And I get really upset when you show them how detestable they truly are. When you tell them to their face what you truly feel and think about them, they don't like that.
Who are you speaking of? Who doesn't like being told to their face?
Oh, medical field workers, because there'll
Oh.
always be a market for making money off of people that are sick.
Did you know that Bex is live right now?
That's her business.
All right. I'm going to drop down for a bit, but I might hop back on if you're still live in a bit.
Yeah, I think I got a few more songs I'd like to play, and if somebody wants to come up, they're more than welcome to. I will open the panel and the stage to them. Let me drop the link.
Okay.
Steven, thank you once again, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. And nice to meet you, Casey. Good to see you, Pam. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Take care, man. Let's see here. Do we want to get a little daring? Maybe take a foot and step just outside of the safety zone.
It doesn't. Mission.